Alright, Shalom. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and all the she brothers that be pushing this truth and sincerity. Alright. And I wanted to speak on the future of you Edomites. Alright. Because you got out here in England and pretty much throughout these different countries and all of that, they do their voting, man. And now that's something that's been pondering upon my mind for the last couple of days. Because you peons, right, you lesser illuminaries, right? Even right down to your regular day-to-day Edomite, really believes that you can make a change to the heritage prescribed to you by the Most High, right? By Yahweh, Yahushua. You can't change that, all right? You can plead all you like, right? You can vote all you like, but guess what? You're gonna find out, right? That your heritage has been laid down for you from the foundations of the earth. See, the Most High created the wicked, right, for the day of evil, which is coming up. We're going to see that in the book of Joel, the third chapter. The Most High also created the righteous. All right, now we're in the time of the righteous right now. We're in the time of the wicked. All right, but the end game for the wicked is ultimately to be destroyed. That's the only way of righteousness, which is the perpetual storyline that you have in every good film. Right, the good pretty much usurping, right, overtaking the wicked. All right, but unlike most films, the wicked ain't gonna live ever again. See, you're gonna be in a hardcore state of enslavement for 1,000 years, and you're gonna be bound up and burnt, and you ain't ever gonna be seen again upon the face of the planet. In fact, Job the 20th chapter, right, tells you exactly how you're gonna be thought about. See, you're gonna be chased away as a vision of the night. You're gonna be as a dream. All right. Namely, people gonna be thinking about, damn, remember when we was voting and all of that, man? Yeah, who was that guy? Oh yeah, it was Esau. Like, you got this Edomite out here who's apparently in leadership of England. But see, we gonna find out this. All right. Really, the Most High is in control, even because you are puppet leaders. Right? People are voting for puppet leaders. See, the elites of this kingdom, right? That's spoken about in the book of Psalms, right? Namely, where it talks about they have taken crafty counsel against our people, against our anointed one. Who's the people of the Most High? And that goes to show you that's a clear cut and simple understanding. See, that goes to show you that the Most High, one, is only dealing with one group of people, and two, he's only going to save one group of people. Right? See, the scripture says, right, the wicked, right, so-called white man, Esau, right, under the guise of the so-called Illuminati, or whatever the hell you want to call them, right, have taken crafty counsel against that and anointed all that people. Are you quote slipping me at the moment? But nevertheless, my people, ergo his people, is a possessive term used for something that's owned by someone. And when you go into the scriptures, you find out who the Most High has his heritage, is the portion of which belongs unto Israel, where the Lord's portioning them. He's likened unto the abundance of the nation as the dust of abundance. Alright, so you can go about doing your voting and so on and so forth, but you're going to find out the elect, right? The only elect, right, that hence election, the only election that ever was done was from the foundations of the earth, namely where the elect was selected, and the rest was going to be blinded, like it's talked about in Romans 11 chapter and the 7th verse. All right, and that became the elect. All right, now with that, I'm gonna touch on some scriptures. All right, and then we'll get out of here, because I don't have to drag this point out that there ain't gonna be no elect amongst the Edomites, right? Now they're gonna be elect amongst the white people, right? If you can have ears to understand, you won't understand that saying they elect amongst the Edomites, but they're gonna be elect amongst the so-called white people. Alright, now this is Isaiah the 55th chapter and 11th verse. It says, "So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth." Right, the scriptures that you read, right, where it talks about the destruction of America, the destruction of this government. That's the word of the Most High. And it says, "It shall not return unto me void." It's not going to return unto me unto the Lord, rather more, right? And now it's not going to return unto him void, right? He goes on to say, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper. Now, what is prosperity? Right? The accomplishment of something, right? To roughly paraphrase the definition thereof, right? It shall prosper in that whereto I sent it, right? So it's going to flourish, and in that it's going to, the word of the Most High was prescribed to destroy Esau. It's going to flourish, and it's going to accomplish that goal, not necessarily goal, because that would make it as though the Most High is actually fighting the devil. No, it's going to accomplish that objective. All right. Let me jump onto the next scripture. Right, this is the book of Malachi, the first chapter and third verse. Right, it says, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So that's the word of the Most High, right? And the Most High is going to have it to where he's going to lay the mountains, which when you go into the scriptures, mountains is indicative of governments, hence the word summits. It's going to show you that most of these things that you see out here in the world, words, whether it be as something as simple in concept as a word, or even bigger in concept as a government, a governing body, and ultimately an election, right? It all goes back into the scriptures, all right? And the Most High said he's going to lay his heritage waste. Let me jump onto the last scripture, starting from, I'm going to start from the 7th verse. Joel, the 3rd chapter, and the 7th verse says, behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and I will return your recompense unto your own head. Right? So that's your future. He's not deciding vote on your future. Right? Namely, the hardcore captivity that's been lived, and that is lived by the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? Throughout America, throughout the world, underneath the Edomites. That's going to be returned unto your own head, right? It says, and I will sell your sons. So the Lord is going to sell your sons. How's he going to do that? He's going to do it through his men. He'll sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, which is Negroes, right? But it represents the house of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and sell them to the Sabians, right? To the people far off. The Lord has spoken, since it says, proclaim ye amongst the Gentiles, make war, wake up the mighty men, let all manner of war draw near, let them come up. Alright, beat your plows into shares, into beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. So little nations like Iran, let them say I'm strong. In that, and look at it, and look what it's saying. Read between the lines, alright? It says, let the weak say I'm strong. And that's talking about Iran, right? But the premise of this paragraph was beat your plowshares into swords. So their main means of obtaining food and so on and so forth, it was going to disannul that for a period of time. It was going to beat those plowshares, namely their objectives would have been to get those nuclear weapons and so on and so forth, alright? So you seeing that right through the scriptures right there. Clear cut and simple. Why are they weak? Because they're a small nation, right? The Most High saying, they say, weak I am strong. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves round about. Thither cause the mighty ones to come down. Right, O Lord. I says, let the heathen hearken and come to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So that's your ultimate goal. So you put all kind of measures into austerity, alright? If you vote for the right, so-called right group and so on and so forth, that's going to make your life a little bit easier and so on and so forth. But ultimately, your life is not going to get no easier. It's going to get much tougher, alright? In that you're going to have it to where we're going to have you as slaves, alright? And with that, I'm going to sign out. It's the double honors of the apostles of GMS. Honors to the brothers that be pushing this truth and sincerity. Shalom.